Let me open the Jupyter notebook. Let's first understand the concept of comprehension and then we will try to write the program. Okay, like how we can declare comprehensions in the Python and how we can, what actually comprehensions are and how we can write program over it. Okay, so let me just create one new notebook and I'm renaming this notebook with the name called as comprehension. Okay, so first we will have discussion over the term comprehension, what it is, what actually it is, and how it is going to help us to write some Python program. So if you guys remember, whenever we talk about the comprehension, you guys must be aware of this term whenever we were in school. What are comprehensions? Some kind of unseen passage. First, you have to read those passage and then you have to give the answers of those passage within the one line, right? That is what the basic meaning of comprehension is. Here in the case, here in the case of Python, the comprehensions are the same thing. So in the case of Python, comprehensions are also the same thing. Basically, it will help you to reduce the lines of code. Also, it helps you to write the program within a single line. Okay, so first of all, let's write one program and then we will see how we can rewrite that program with the help of comprehension. And with that, we will see the definition of comprehension as well. Okay, so suppose we are having one list. Okay, here you are having one list, and this list contains some sort of numbers like this. Now, my question says that square the given number present inside the list and give the square number output in the list format. Okay, which means what all values present inside the list, we have to pick up those elements. We have to perform square of those elements and we have to print the answer in the format of list again. Okay, so for that thing, you guys can see I have to pick up one element at a time and I have to perform the square of that element. So for that thing, you guys must be knowing that whenever we are having the non-primitive data type, we have to take the help of for loop. So simply I'm going to write the for loop here. Let's say for I in list underscore one. This is your for loop. Now this for loop is going to pick up the iteration one at a time, which means it will allow you to pick up the elements one by one. Okay. Now simply what I have to do, I have to square the terms. So can I simply choose one variable and simply write I to the power 2? That will do the square of that particular term. Now what it is saying that the output should be there present inside the list. Okay. So for that, when I want my output to be there in the list format, what I can do is simply I have to declare one empty list. I'm simply declaring it as list of output and this is your empty list. Whenever I have to append the values inside the list, we have to choose the method called as dot append. So can I simply write list of output dot append, and inside that I am going to mention this variable z. So since I'm going to mention this variable z, each time the iteration is going to happen, it is going to append the current value of z inside the list of output. One by one, this is going to happen and we will be getting our final list once the for loop will complete all of its iteration. Okay, once this is done, now what we have to do? Should we write the print statement here inside the loop? If you're going to do this thing, what will happen? Each time the for loop is going to run, whatever modifications are happening inside the list of output, it will print those modifications one by one for every iterations. We don't want that. Let me show you how it is going to look like this. We don't want that. We don't want 100, 100 and 400. No. I want this last output to come into the picture. Okay. So for that particular purpose, when for loop completes all of its iteration, then we are going to write the print statement after the completion of the for loop. Once for loop will complete all of its iteration, it will search for another print statement or anything else return after the for loop. It will recognize that yes, we are having the print statement. If it is going to run the print statement, it will give me the final list, and inside that final list will be having the numbers available in the squared format. Now, this is the program. Guys, look into the program very carefully. There are two things in the programs, which this program, which are facing problem, or let's say, which are taking a lot of manual effort from our side. What are the two things? Declaration of empty list. Whenever you have to print your final output inside the list, you have to every time declare the empty list, and then you have to append the iterations on that empty list, and then you have to print the final list output outside the for loop, right? This is what we have to do. Also understand that, guys, whenever you are applying the for loop or you are performing the for loop, you can see how many number of lines it is consuming, or how many number of lines it is consuming to write the Python statement, right? It is consuming a lot of lines. So in that particular case, I can write this whole program within one line. So whenever there is a concept of for loop coming into the picture, and you want output to be specified in the particular data type format. Let's say what data type format I'm talking about. Let's say the list or dictionary. So such type of concept, we call those concepts are the comprehensions. What is the comprehension? Comprehension allows you to write the program within a single line. You can use for loop inside the comprehensions. You can use if else inside the comprehension. You can use whatever you want to inside the comprehension. Also understand one thing, that comprehensions are for non-primitive data type. Whenever you want your output to be printed in some non-primitive data type format, let's say here you can see my output was getting printed in the format of list. Similarly, you can do the same thing for the dictionary as well. Why not for the tuple and set? You guys understand that, right? Tuples are immutable in nature. So even if I want to perform, let's say, even if I want to perform comprehension over the tuple, it is not possible because of its mutability, oh sorry, immutability factor. I cannot do that. Okay. So if it is not allowed, which means we cannot perform comprehension over that particular or certain data type. Now let's talk about set. What about set? We cannot perform the comprehensions over the set as well. Why? Because you guys know that sets are unordered in nature, and also it does not follow indexing, which means even if I want to uh, use the elements to paste inside the set, what will happen? The output of the set is going to be unfamiliar every time, right? What is the order, how the output is going to look like, all of those things are, let's say, not known to us. That's why we avoid these two data type, or let's say these two non-primitive data type in the case of comprehensions. So you can say that we are only having two different type of comprehension. The first one is your list comprehension, and the second one is your tuple comprehension. Oh, sorry, my bad. Dictionary comprehension. Tuple we cannot choose because tuples are immutable in nature. Okay, so we are going to perform list comprehension, and we will see how we can write this multiple lines of program into the one line. We are going to perform dictionary comprehension, and we will also see that how we can write multiple lines of dictionary creation into the one line. Also understand that comprehension also say that you are going to create another list with the help of pre-existing list. What it is trying to say, that you are already having one pre-existing list and you want to create another list out of it by while writing some programs over it, then you take the help of comprehension. So instead of doing this much of manual effort, I will show you that you guys can write this whole program within a single line. So basically, let me write down the definition of comprehension so that you guys will get the good idea what comprehension actually is. And then later I will show you the syntax. Okay. Okay. So I'm simply erasing the drawing first and I'm writing the definition here. You can say that comprehension in Python is a concise way to create a new list or dictionary, guys, because you guys know that these two data type, they both support comprehensions. Okay. Sets are also there, but we usually avoid because of its nature. Okay. Based on the existing iterable object. What it is trying to say, you are already having the iterable object present and you want to create one new list or dictionary with the help of those iterable objects, then you can take the help of the comprehensions there. Okay. Now, let me mark this down. This is the definition of your comprehension. Let me show you the syntax of the comprehension. So the syntax which I'm showing to you guys right now is the syntax of list comprehension. Okay, so syntax is somewhat like this. As I told you that we are going to write the list comprehension within the single line, right? So how we can write that in the single line? Let me tell you. First, you have to choose the variable name. Okay, so I'm simply choosing the variable name like list of comp, whatever your variable name is. Now the second, we have to give the square brackets. Okay, once you guys give the square brackets, now you need to understand that based on the requirement, your syntax is going to vary. Okay, suppose now you want for loop to be there inside your list. So first you are going to write the for loop. Whatever the concept of for loop is, similar for loop you are going to replicate here. No difference. Now, suppose if you want to choose if without else as well, suppose there are some conditions. If no condition, then you can completely avoid if statements. Okay. So let me show you first without any if or else. Let's just pick up the for loop. And let's say in our case, we were having the for loop and we have to perform the square of that temporary variable present inside the for loop. So let's say I'm going to write the for loop here somewhat like this. For temporary variable in the iterable. Now, what I want to print, guys, you guys know that every time we print the temporary variable, right? So whatever output is going to be there, you have to mention in the first place of the list comprehension. Understood? What we are doing, first we are writing the for loop normally. Once we are done writing the for loop, then if I want to print something, I have to come back in the first section of the comprehension and then later have to write the output. Let me show you the basic list comprehension, how it looks like. Understand one more thing. This is the syntax of your list comprehension. Your dictionary comprehension syntax is going to look different from this one. Okay. So let me give you one example. The example says that we have to print the numbers inside the list. Let's say n natural numbers inside the list. Okay. So for that particular purpose, I am choosing one variable again. Let's say list of natural numbers. Once this is done, what I told you, when this is a list comprehension, you have to choose the square brackets. So I'm simply choosing the square brackets. Once you guys have selected the square bracket, what is the next thing? I told you to run the for loop, right? So I'm simply running the for loop. N natural numbers. Let's say n is equals to 10 as of now. So I'm simply writing for I in range of 10, right? We are doing this since day one. For I in range of 10, which means it is going to pick up first 10 natural numbers. Now what I have to print in the output? I, right? So come back in the first place of the list comprehension, write simply I and give one space. So this is your for loop And coming forward, in the first place, you are having I here. And since you're going to print the list of natural, you will see it is going to create one whole new list with all the natural number till 9 present inside it. Can you see that? If this is the comprehended part, right? If I want to write this program without comprehension, then again it is going to take few lines of my let's say code, okay, which we don't want. It is if it is going to consume much space, which means it is not of our use, right? Let me show you if we are going to write the similar program without comprehension, how it is going to look like. First, I have to declare one empty list, okay, so that I can iterate the values present inside the for loop into the empty list. Then I have to run the for loop for I in range of 10. Then I have to append the values inside the list of n, right? So can we simply write list of n dot append, and inside the append I'm mentioning I. Now coming out of the for loop, I'm going to simply print list of n once my for loop will complete all of its iteration. Okay, and it is going to print the modified value of list of n. Now, since I'm going to run this, you can see it is giving me this answer. So previously, this many number of lines were replaced with a single line with the help of comprehension. That is what the sole purpose of comprehension is. What is the sole purpose? That you have to reduce the lines of code and you have to recreate the new data type with the help of previously available iterables. Okay, so basically we have written the program within a single line, and that is what we are going to do. As of now, you can see it is looking very normal, right? We are only having the combination of for loop along with the output. Now, coming forward, you will see we have the concept of if, right? And we have again the concept of if else. So these two things, how we are going to, let's say, declare inside the list comprehension, we will see that as well. So let's say list comprehension without conditional statements. Now I'm going to give one more heading here. List comprehension with conditional statement if without else. Okay. List comprehension with conditional statements if without else. So suppose inside the comprehension, whenever you want to use the list for loop, and along with that, you have to use the conditional statement. But the conditional statement is here if without else, right? It is going to only pick up the if, but not else. Let's see the syntax of that, where you guys are going to mention the if block or if. So again, you have to give the name of your list. Since it is the list comprehension, so you have to mention them inside the square bracket. Simply run the for loop, let's say for I in iterable, whatever your iterable is. Now, if you are having the condition, you're going to mention the condition like this. If whatever condition you're having, once the condition turns out to be true, this output is going to get printed. So it is going to iterate over the variables or object with the help of for loop. Now the next thing is if condition. It is going to check the condition. Once the condition turns out to be true, it is going to print the answer as the output. When it turns out to be false, it is going to print nothing. Because as you guys can see, we are not having the else block here. Okay, so completely the new concept. Okay, so what we are talking about that, yeah, for I in iterable and if we are having conditions, so this is your if condition and the output, if you want to write, you can mention the output in the first place. So let's pick up one condition. Let's say, let's try to write one dictionary comprehension with the combination of for loop and the if condition. Okay, so for that, simply what I'm doing, I'm just mentioning one question right down here. And with the help of that question, we will try to understand list comprehension a bit more better. Okay, so the question says that pick up the n equals to 12 natural numbers and check, or let's say, and print only even numbers present inside the list. Even number inside the list. What is going to happen? Now, what we have to do is we have to pick up the range from 0 to 12. Okay. And then in the case of Python, the range is going to be 0 to 13, right? So that we can pick it up till 12. So in that case, it is going to pick up the numbers between that desired range. And then we have to give the condition. Let's say if the number is even in nature, then only we are going to print that number, or else we don't have to do anything. So in that case, you guys can see we are having if condition written here. I'm going to use the comprehension similar to as that of the previous one, which I have mentioned here in the syntax. Previously, you guys have seen that the previous comprehension was very normal, right? There were no conditional statement written there. And this comprehension statement, this is coming with the conditional statement, and the conditional statement is nothing but the if without else one. Okay, so let me give you the variable name first. Let's say list of even is the name of my variable. Now we have to mention the comprehension because it is a list. So we have to mention this inside the square bracket. Doing that again. Now we have to pick up the first n natural numbers. So we have to run the for loop because we have to pick up the elements one by one from rest of the 12 elements. So I'm simply writing for I n range of 12. Because I'm not picking up 12, what is the reason? If I'm going to write 12, what is going to happen? It will become exclusive in nature. We have to pick last but one. Okay. So for I in range of 13, since it is done, what we have to do, we have to check the condition. Let's say if I mod 2 is equals to 0. This is nothing new, guys. You guys have already written the program for checking the even odd numbers in the Python, right? So for I in range of 13, if I mod 2 is equals to 0, coming back in the first place, and then we are going to bring the output. What is my output going to be? I. So understand this thing that whenever your condition is turning out to be true, then only you're going to come in the first place and print the output. When the condition is false, we're not going to print anything. Let me print the list of even, or let's say the final list. You can see it is only picking up those elements which are even in nature. Understand that your zero is neither even nor odd. Okay. So if you want, you can change the range starting from 1, ending at 13. And then it is going to pick up all the numbers which are even in nature and place them inside the list. Now, list of even is carrying all the even numbers within this particular range. Okay, so this is how your dictionary comprehension with the combination of conditional statement work. Okay, now we will see. Suppose if you want to mention if with else as well, then what is the syntax of that going to be? Okay, let me give you the last syntax or last implementation of list comprehension, and then later we'll try to solve one or two program related to this list comprehension. Okay, so the question says that here. No, let's not pick up the question. First of all, let me mark this as heading so that notebook will look a bit more better. Okay, your list comprehension without conditional statement. I'm marking that as the heading again. Now you can do the proper bifurcation. Okay. Now I'm simply choosing the list comprehension with conditional statement if with else. Okay. So let me give you the heading for that. List comprehension with conditional statements if with else. So guys, understand that the syntax which we are going to declare for this implementation is going to be different from rest of the implementations which you guys have seen for the list comprehension. Okay. Previously, you guys noticed that this was the normal declaration, right? With the for loop. Now this is the declaration of for loop with if condition, right? Now what is the next thing? We are going to declare the for loop along with the if else. So understand that the placement of if condition is after the for loop, right? But when we are having if with else, we do the placement right in front of the for loop. Okay. For example, let me show you that let's say this is the name of your list. So this is the list comprehension. I'm again repeating, we have to place them inside the square bracket. Once mentioning the square bracket, what is the next job? You have to mention the for loop. Okay. So I'm mentioning the for loop, let's say for I in some iterable. Now guys, you are choosing if with else. Previously that was if without else. So you guys were normally writing the if here and the job was done. Now we are having if with else, right? So come back in the first place, mention the condition. If and then whatever condition you are mentioning. If the condition turns out to be true, print the output, whatever is written here. Else, when the condition turns out to be false, print this output. So the output of else is present here and the output of if is present here. And you guys know that either of them is going to run or get executed. So we push the for loop by the end of the comprehension and we have mentioned the if else condition in the first place. So if you look into the declaration of list comprehension, previously those were very easy, right? Previously we were using the for loop and just writing the output in the first place. Later we were using the for loop and then we are writing the if condition, placing the output in the first place. Now this is something different from rest of those two, that you are using the for loop in the end and you are using if condition, else and else condition both inside the comprehension. Let me mark this down and let's try to create one program related to this if else. Okay. So let's see what it is going to do. So it's very simple. What I'm going to do is the question says that print even in the place of even numbers and write odd in place of odd numbers inside the list. Okay. So what it is asking me, we have to pick up the first n natural numbers. Let's say, let's pick up 12. Okay. So wherever the numbers are even in nature, we have to write even inside the list. Wherever the numbers are odd in nature, we have to write odd inside the list. Okay. So guys, you know that previously we were only having the even condition, right? That's why we were printing the even number. Now we are going to have both even and odd condition. In that case, we are going to take the help of this implementation of list comprehension. Okay, let's write it down. Let's write the program. Simply mentioning one list here. So let's say list of if, else. Then I'm going to run the for loop. This is the major or basic thing. Whenever you are initiating the list comprehension or dictionary comprehension, the first thing which you guys are going to do is declaring a list for loop. So I'm simply declaring for loop. Let's say for I in range of what? How many numbers? 12. Starting from where? We are not starting from 0. We are starting from 1. We are ending at 13. So it is going to pick the numbers from 1 till 12. Now, we have to write even for the even numbers and odd for the odd numbers, which means we have to pick up the concept of if else. So I'm simply coming back in the first place of the comprehension, writing if, let's say the condition, which means if I mod 2 is equals to 0, coming back to the first place, write even inside the list. else. When this condition turns out to be false, write odd inside the list. Can you see that? Now, when the condition turns out to be true, the statement, the return here is going to get executed. When the condition turns out to be false, this odd is going to get executed. Now I'm going executed, or let's say pushed inside the list. I'm going to print this list just to show you what all it is giving me as the answer. You can see your number 1 is odd. That's why odd is coming up here. Your number 2 is even is coming up. Likewise, it is printing even and odd according to the condition. So if you guys are going to remember all these 3 implementation of list comprehension, I am telling you that you will not face any sort of challenges in near future. Okay, so this is how your list comprehension works. Getting it? Now let's try to solve some programs which will give us the better clarity how we can use the list comprehension in certain situations. Okay, so previously, let me give you the brief revision for what all formats we have written till now, so that if I give you the question, you guys won't get confused. So this is the list comprehension. Previously, guys have seen that we were writing the program like this. And in this program, you guys can see there were too many gaps, or you can say it was consuming too much space as well. First, we have to pick up the empty list every time. Then we have to append the values inside the empty list every time. Then we have to print the empty list or whatever list, modified one in the end. This process is on loop, right? We were doing this again and again whenever I wanted the output to be inside the list. So to reduce this manual effort, there is something called as comprehension came into the picture. Now, comprehension says that it is a concise way that whenever you want to create the new list or the new dictionary based on the pre-existing iterations, you can take the help of comprehension. Now, as I told you, first we are picking list comprehensions. We are having 2 different type of comprehensions, list and dictionary. As of now, we are only acknowledging the list one. We also have the set comprehension, but just because of the properties of sets, we don't choose it. Okay, now coming back to the point, this is the syntax of your list comprehension with for loop and the normal output. Here we don't have any sort of rocket science. Coming back to the point, the second one is, let's say, the list comprehension with if without else statements. Okay, so here you can see we were simply running the for loop. We were writing the if condition. Whenever the condition turns out to be true, we were printing the output in the first place. Now, the third implementation is list comprehension conditional statement if with else, right? So whenever this concept comes into the picture, you have to understand if and else we have to write in the first place. Then only I can use the for loop or the iterable in the last or in the by the end of the list. Okay, now let's try to solve some questions. And the question is not going to be, let's say, completely dedicated to the previous topic which you have covered. No, you have to pick up the required implementation based on the question. Okay, so the question here is, check if the last alphabet of the string present inside the list is A or not. If it is A, let me write it down. If A, then print yes. If not ending with A, then print that string as it is. Okay, so whenever your, let's say, word is ending with A, we are going to say that we have to print yes in that place. That particular string is ending with A. When the string is not ending with A, then we have to say that we have to directly print the string. Okay, whatever the string is. Chalo, now coming back to the point, let's try to solve this question with the help of dictionary comprehension. Now, as you guys can see, the question itself states that what type of implementation of list comprehension we have to choose. Okay. And based on the question, I can see the perfect and the proper combination here is going to be if, with, else. The comprehension with, or let's say the comprehension with conditional statement if, with, else. Okay. So I'm going to simply pick it up. Let's say what? I'm going to simply choose the variable name. So let's say practice is the name of my variable. No. First, I have to give the list as well, right? The question is still incomplete, guys. Let me give you the list where you have to pick the elements from. So list of string, let's say banana, guava, apple, and let's say dragon fruit. Okay, we are having these four elements present inside the list. Now, based on this list, we have to try and solve this program. Okay, so what is the list dictionary comprehension which we have to mention based on the question? It says that check if the last alphabet of the string. Do you guys remember we have a concept of string indexing as well? If you guys remember, right? If I'm going to write banana like this and I'm going to mention -1 here, you can see it is picking up the A from that banana. What it is doing, it is picking up the last element, or let's say the last alphabet of the word banana. So what is happening here? We are going to do the same. We have to check the condition, right? If the last element of the word is A or not. So for that particular purpose, let's try to first run the for loop so that we can pick up the objects from the list one by one. Or let's say we can perform the iteration. So I'm simply running the for loop. Let's say for I in list of string. Okay, done running the for loop. Coming back in the first place, because as you guys can see, we are having if, with, else condition, right? So we have to mention in that particular sense as well. So I'm simply writing if, what is the condition? I of -1 is equals to A. Getting it? This is going to be your condition because as I told you that if you're going to pick up one word and you're going to write -1 for that word, you will see that it is extracting the last alphabet from that word. Okay, so if I of -1 is equals to A, come back in the first place, and what we have to do? If it is there, then we have to print yes inside the list. But when the condition turns out to be false, which means we have to mention the else block, right? Then what we have to do? If it is not ending with A, then we have to print that string directly. So can I simply write I? Whenever the condition turns out to be false, then you have to print I. Okay, my job is done. Now you have to print the practice list. You can see that. Yes, banana is ending with A. That's why yes. Guava is also ending with A. That's why yes again. Apple is not ending with A. That's why no answer. Dragon is not ending with A. Again, the string as it is dragon fruit, let's say. Okay, so it is printing the string as it is for you. Make sense? Getting the point? Okay, now the question for you as the homework, which I am giving to you right now. In the next session, we will be continuing with that question only. What is the question? The question says that you are having two lists. Perform the product of respective index positions of those lists. For example, this is your list underscore one. It contains the element like 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now you are having another list, which is list underscore 2, that contains the elements like 2, 4, 10, 5, 8. So according to the respective index position, we have to perform the product of those two numbers. Let's say 2 cross 2, 3 cross 4, 10 cross 4, 5 cross 5, and 6 cross 8. And then you have to place them inside the list as the output. Now for the, let's say, hint purpose, I am just suggesting you to use a zip built-in function. Zip these two lists up while running the for loop, and you want to perform the product, come in the output section, simply write the variable, temporary variable 1 multiply temporary variable 2. Your job will get done. If you have listened, or let's say if you have heard my instructions carefully, you guys will be able to solve this question very easily. Okay, so this is all about your list comprehension. In the next session, we will be talking about the dictionary comprehension. We will see the different implementation of dictionary comprehensions with if and if with else. And then there we will close the section of your comprehension. Okay, don't forget to solve your homework because the next session we are going to start from here only. Okay, now if you guys want to see that how this comprehension is going to look like in the visual tutor, let me show you that as well. This is your visual tutor. I'm pasting the comprehension here. Okay, list of string not defined. I have to print the list of string as well. Then only it is going to pick up that as the variable and try to perform the comprehension on the basis of that. You can see we are having list of string. Now, you can see what it is telling me, list iterator instance, which means it is talking about this comprehension. Okay, you can see. Now, since the for loop is running one by one, it is picking up the value of I as apple, dragon fruit, and everything. What is the return value? Yes, yes, apple and dragon fruit on the basis of the condition which you guys have given. Okay, now this is getting stored back into the practice variable. Now you are having one whole fresh new practice list once your comprehension stop running. Okay, so this is how it is going to look like in the visual tutor. So basically, visual tutor is nothing but it helps you to give the better visualization for the execution or the flow of the program. Okay. So yeah, this is all about your list comprehension. Next session will be continuing with your homework question along with the dictionary comprehension. Okay. So thanks for joining, guys. I hope you enjoyed this session or hope you enjoy the Python lecture series. Thank you.